Hi guys, it's CalamitiesDawn here and welcome back to the final episode of Minecraft Hardcore. I started off our final episode with going and doing some mining in the nether. I got some ancient debris, which never gets used unfortunately. But hey, at least I had it. And then had to go and repair a lot of my tools because I'd used them quite a bit in the nether, and I think I was pretty close to breaking my pickaxe in the nether. So I was like, yep, back home, time to repair. I ended up putting some torch flowers on the barn, which unfortunately I have no footage of that, whether it be recording footage or replay footage, because the replay ended up bugging out and I forgot to record some of it. I went and got some ducks and some butterflies. I also got a donkey, but the footage for that is corrupted, so that's no good. I managed to find a totem of undying in one of the graveyards, and then I found just a random bit of emerald, so I collected that. And then after several times of going into the greenhouse and having bees fly out, decided that it was time we build a bee sanctuary. So I place this down and I start building it up. And I have auto place on, which makes it easier to place blocks in certain aspects, unless if there's a block in front of it or above it, it kind of gets a bit glitchy. But other than that, it's pretty good. All the builds that I have built on my hardcore are all tutorial based because I am not a builder. I wouldn't know the first thing about building freehand in Minecraft and making things look nice. Yeah. So yeah, I have got all of the tutorials down in the description. So you can check out the creators who gave me the inspo or the complete build to do so, because they have done a wonderful job. Placing the leaves for this build got quite frustrating, especially with the auto place, because auto place does not allow you to place it if there's blocks in front of the block you're trying to place. So that got quite frustrating. It kind of got frustrating as well with the glass, because there'd be certain blocks in the way that I just couldn't seem to get the auto place to work on. So that got quite frustrating. But because I chose a glass texture from the chipped mod, at least when I broke these, the glass panes I actually got back. So it wasn't like when you break normal glass, you get nothing. I actually got stuff back. I went in and I wanted to do like a grass and moss texture. And when I decided to do that, I was like, I definitely have to have auto place off, because it is not going to work with the flower holograms that are there. I also have several times here where I make mistakes where I either don't put the trapdoors down properly, or I don't get the hive on properly, or I just put the campfire in the wrong place, because trying to place it with the holograms there makes it quite difficult. I went and grabbed some of the bees out of the greenhouse because I'm going to move them over to the bee sanctuary ever so slowly. once all the windows are in. Because it'd be terrible if I placed them in there without the windows being in, because then they'd fly away. I went and said hello to our sniffers and decided I was going to breed them up a bit more. The only thing that I realised with this now looking back is that I bred one of the baby sniffers with our original sniffer Snappy. So that was a bit awkward. I then cleared out the area in the greenhouse to plant torchflower and pitcher pod seeds. And that was the area where we used to have our beehives. I then released the ducks into the barn with the chickens. And then I decided to go on another building adventure. So I had decided I wanted to build a dock because I wanted to do some fishing, which never happened. But this would have to have been one of the bigger builds I have done, purely because I just didn't have all the resources on hand as I'd hoped. I also placed it in a terrible position, and it required a lot of terraforming to make it look normal. There are quite a few times here where I had to place things in the wrong spot and then fix it, so it got quite frustrating, but I managed to get around it. Also, when I was in the middle of building this, I kind of got really frustrated because I kept thinking that I had this like wandering trader in the way of everything. I then went and found out later on that when I'd done the schematic in my super flat world, I'd actually captured a wandering trader and his llama in the schematic, and that's what it's saved. So he kind of just sits there the entire time until I turn the schematic off. So that was a bit of an oopsie on my part. I also don't realize until I'm done building that I have placed the dock above water and not in the water like I had wanted. At this point, doing anything with the auto place underwater was just ridiculous, as it doesn't work too well, and it took me for a while to understand that that's how that works, so I got quite frustrating. At this point I was getting quite glad because I was nearing the completion of the build, which had taken me hours. But that was not all of my hard work done yet. I went and grabbed whatever extra materials I needed to finish off the build. I was getting really happy at this point because I was so done with building it. Placed things away that I didn't need to have. Put on the finishing touches. And then, as I said earlier, I kind of realized after I was done building that, yeah, I kind of placed it on top of the water, not in the water. So, to terraforming it was. Now, I will admit that the terraforming I did probably wasn't the greatest, but for somebody who doesn't ever terraform, I was quite happy with what I had chosen to do. So I got dirt blocks, put them in the chipped table, and made them into this, like, sandy dirt sort of texture. As if the dock was coming off onto a riverbank sort of idea. I then had to fill it all in, which took me, I think, about an hour and a half to 2 hours to fill in the water from the way I had done it, because I wanted it to look level. Also, during this time, there is a certain section where I have cleared it, cut it off from the rest of the water that we have so that it could be more uniform. That took me a fair while as well, and I never really finished terraforming it to the extent that I was happy with, but for what we had, it was alright. I then went into the nether to go exploring, because I needed to go to a nether fortress. And, yeah, exploring the nether in the better nether mod is a bit tricky, because there are so many new biomes, there's new mobs, so many things you gotta watch out for. I mean, when I saw this enchanted gold skeleton, well, he's just a skeleton with enchanted gold armor, I wasn't too concerned. I was like, this is something I can handle. But compared to some of the other mobs I've had to deal with in the mod, it gets a bit iffy. I spent a lot of time looking at the map trying to figure out a way around different areas, or hoping that I'd find another fortress on the map, but it does take me a fair while before I do find one. And I do go through a fair amount of biomes. At this point, I finally made my way to a nether fortress, and I was so happy, and I wanted to find a way to make it down there, except while I was digging my way, I didn't realize there was a hole and fell. The worst part of the death here is I actually had a totem of undying on me. I just didn't have it in my offhand, so I could have survived, but I didn't. I died. I died to falling off of a cliff because I didn't notice that there was a hole underneath me. We'll do a quick tour of the world, but other than that, I hope you guys have enjoyed Minecraft Hardcore Redo, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Bye.